everybody, welcome back to another episode of Owen Talks Drumcore. We are finally back after a long-awaited couple of weeks. We have finals to talk about. We have a lot of news to talk about. The Troopers already released their show somehow. It's insane, man. But yeah, guys, remember to follow the Instagram, that is Owen Talks Drumcore. Subscribe on YouTube, that is Owen Does Band Things. And then follow the Spotify. If you haven't noticed, on Spotify, we do have video now. So if you want to see the video, you can see it on either YouTube or Spotify. And if you want to just listen to it on Spotify, that's completely fine. But just remember to follow on Spotify. That is also Owen Talks Drumcore. Alrighty, everybody. Well, we have a little bit of a question of the week. I know it's been a while, but I did want to know, what did y'all think of finals? Did you like the results? Do you think anything should have changed between prelims and finals? All those things. Let me know in the comment section down below what you thought of those things. My guest today is on the music education path at the University of North Texas. He is a former Prosper High School trumpet player and marched with the Santa Clara Vanguard this past season as lead trumpet and was the trumpet Ballad soloist. Please welcome my guest today, Isaiah.
Thank you, Owen.
Yes, sir. I got you, bro.
Yeah, it's great because I saw you like yesterday. Last night we were hanging out in not a completely different setting, but this is really fun.
It's
Thank you for
awesome.
having me.
Of course.
Yeah, so as he said, I'm a first-year music education student here at the University of North Texas. I played trumpet, studying to be a band director for a few years, and then I'm going to come back for my master's in music composition and kind of see where that takes me. We'll see where it goes. But yeah, super happy to be here. Super happy to be back.
Yeah, man. All tan and whatnot.
Yeah, dude. I had someone, I had one of the trumpets here ask me if I was like, they're like, "Are you white?" They called me in the middle of a party that they were at, and they were like, "Are you white?" And I was like, "What do you mean?" They're like, "Are you just like secretly white?" And I was like, "Yeah, I am. Like, I'm normally, I wasn't this dark before I left." But yeah, I went to Prosper. It was cool. That's that.
That's what's up, man. No, yeah, dude. I mean, I know this is kind of cliche, like out of podcasting, but like, and people I guess might know this, but might not. Like, we've become really good friends the past like couple weeks at UNT.
Yeah.
We're both freshmen, if y'all don't know that. We're shooting at UNT right now, which is super cool because they have these cool rooms. But besides the point, UNT's been awesome. How has your classes been for music education?
It's pretty good. So I actually got most of my core classes out of the way with AP stuff, which was nice. And then I got to, like, I just take music classes now, which is pretty sick. But yeah, we were at lunch today, and I was talking to some people, and like, I've only been at UNT for like 2.5 weeks, but it feels like it's been forever. Like all the stuff that's happened, and like, you know, being around the UNT marching band, and it's been really sick. Yeah. Like, I know because you messaged me on Instagram,
dude,
like over the summer, and then I finally met you. And Now we hang out, and it's
dude, that's crazy. Chill. No, I was telling my dorm mate. Yeah. It's crazy to me how no matter, and I talked about this with Drew in the last podcast too, no matter where you come from, if you're a band kid or just like anywhere near that, you lock immediately because we never met. we met before the first day of GB. Yeah. And after the first day of GB, we're literally friends and we talk to each other every single day. Yeah. Like, it's that close of a bond with band and whatnot, which is awesome to think about. But
yeah, that's a really cool thing about drum corps too. Like, you know, there's the competitive aspect of it, but like at the end of the day, you guys are all doing the same stuff. Yeah. You're all dealing through the heat. Like, especially in Texas tour, that was like, I felt bonded with people in other corps because I was like, man, you guys are going through the same crap. You're all so tired. You're also, you know, like working really hard. So it's really sick, and I think that's just like band in general.
No, yeah, that's super sick because we were gonna meet at Denton here, at DC at Denton, and then
dude, I remember that,
ended up not. And
yeah, because then they, like, right as you were by our buses, right?
I was.
Yeah, and then that was right when they were like, you guys need to get on the buses now, like right now, and I had to sprint from the stadium I watched the last performance and I just ran like as fast as I could. It was insane. But yeah,
dude, awesome times. Well, I mean, since we're already kind of diving into it, what's one core memory you had this season of your rookie year at the Santa Clara Vanguard?
Yeah, so probably my biggest one is from finals.
Yeah.
That was like, obviously finals is like super emotional. And our whole thing is like what they were telling us was like, hey, stay locked in on finals, like don't get too emotional and screw up. But there's the Vanguard yell, that happens at the end of the show, and it's this thing that happens I don't want to say every Vanguard show because I might get fact checked on that one, but there's quite a few shows where there's like an 8-count rest between chords, and you snap your horn down on count 3, snap it back up on 7, and in that 8-count phrase or whatever, the crowd just screams Vanguard.
That's sick.
And and so most of the season, once people figured out where to yell, it was only like 10 people per show, and it was just kind of like Vanguard.
Yay, Vanguard.
And once we got to Indy, like prelims was the first time I heard a crowd do it, and I was like, dude, this is sick.
Yeah.
And by finals, we're marching my closer drill. I was booking it, man. I was dying. And I just kind of take this like last look at the audience, and I see all our staff up in the stands. I see them all stand up and just scream it, and you can actually see it on the finals video. And that for me, we watched it last night. I forgot about that. Yeah, we were watching that clip, and when they stand up and scream, I just like. It was just like this huge like feeling of just love for the core and all that stuff, and that was something so cool, and I snapped up and I just it was awesome.
Dude, that's awesome. That's honestly such a cool core memory to have, because I mean, obviously I haven't marched drum corps yet, but like from what I remember from state, it's just that crowd energy. Which is wild to think of, but it does feed. It gives you energy. It gives you motivation, because people are actually. I mean, you're not only entertaining them, but you're giving them a freaking good time.
Yeah,
you know?
that was really cool. Our first show was actually it was in LA, which was cool. I'm from LA, so that was nice. But our first show was like a only student show.
Oh right.
And it was like first year back. No one knew what we were coming out with. They knew like the source music, and we go into the pre-show, and we had that audio bit, it'll be fun, whatever. And at that point, like, we were all pretty jaded to it because we heard it every day, and like we didn't realize like it was pretty cool. And it's this crowd of like 15, 16-year-old kids, and we do the pre-show, and you hear that first lick. And I just hear like the entire crowd go, whoa, whoa. Like, we hadn't even played anything. Like we were standing still doing this little pose here. And I was like, oh yeah, this is awesome.
Yeah.
And the staff made a big deal about it too afterwards. They were like, okay, yeah, you guys like turned it on when there was a crowd, and like you guys performed really well. But can you do that in like, say, like a state like Louisiana, where there weren't really many people in the crowd? And it was just like, can you still turn it on? Can you still be like, have that great of performance quality? And that's like, that's a thing. Thing I feel like a lot of corps go through is like, can you keep it on? Can you keep performing?
Yeah.
And with no props, we had nothing to hide behind. It was literally us, and like that was a big thing for me. Was like, I was playing, and then as soon as I wasn't playing, I was like face up, trying to look as big as possible and perform. So it was cool.
Yeah, no, that's sick. From what I remember, first time I watched a show, well, obviously it was like, oh, welcome back SCV, right? Mm-hmm. But I was like okay, like I mean, everyone in the drum corps world was like, no props. Let's see what they can do with no props. Especially now, in days, every single show is so just. The visual team and everybody in the creative team is just so evolved that you almost have to have props.
Yeah.
And props to y'all, like unintentionally, but props to y'all that like y'all did it. Like y'all did it without props. Y'all made the crowd, like, I mean, I personally really like y'all show, right? But like besides that, I think like Yas was besides Phantom. I think one of the other like that was very loved by the crowd.
Yeah.
Almost at every showing.
Yeah.
I mean, his show
It was really cool, and like the no props thing was, I mean, it was a struggle, you know, like in the drumcore world that, like you said, it's
like a normal thing.
Yeah,
now.
it's a thing, and like I marched like all the competitive years I had in high school, I had props. I had I had some really cool props. It was very blessed to work with those, but this was my first show, like my first competitive show that I had to march without props, and that was kind of weird for me because, like I said, like there were no breaks, and you know, I think, you know, huge props to the. Oh, I did it too. Huge props to the design team at Vanguard, like with how they managed it, because, you know, like we talked about last night when we watched the show, we had the bags because all a vagabond has is what he has on his back, and you know, just, you know, that's all you have when you set out, and I think it was cool, like the whole way they implemented the guard equipment into that, and I think it was really cool because I had people come up to me after the show and they'd be like, dude, I didn't even realize like it just looked like the guard went into one place and then they came out with equipment. Yeah. And I was like, that's the point, you know? Yeah. And especially in the Ballad hit, like that was so cool, especially like, you know, for me, you know, being a soloist, but like getting to lead up into that moment, like when I went down and there was someone grabbing a flag out of my bag, and that's like the coolest thing that I got to hear about, because after shows, that was like one of the things people talked to me the most about. They were like, dude, I didn't see those swing flags. Like all of a sudden they were like, it was like nothing, and then boom, they were there, and I was like, yeah, that's the point, you know. And every time I watch that clip, I'm like, heck yeah, like that's like one of my favorite moments of the show.
Yeah, dude, and it's like not even like on teamwork stuff, but like it, like you were saying, it really, I mean, let's be honest here, brass rarely gets to collaborate with guard or even percussion at times. Yeah. And so just to have that connection with them, and I'm assuming that you met a bunch of new people off of that too. Yeah. Obviously, you're not gonna not know who the person grabbing that flag behind you is, and all of a sudden they just steal the flag from you, you know? Yeah. I bet that was really cool for you to get more people and all that.
Yeah, it was totally cool. I had two moments. So there were some people who had like one equipment swap with the guard. Some people had two. Some people had three. Some people had none. You know, that was just like how the drill worked out. I had two. I had right before the high brass feature, in part two, I had a saber, and then I had the swing flag, and so that was also really fun because, especially the guy who took the saber, his name was Ben. We like before every run. Especially like the rehearsal runs, I had to like run around the fields try to find him, and like at the beginning of rehearsals too, if we were doing full ensemble, and I like had my bag on and I had nothing in it, and I was like Ben, just like I was like standing on the field, like Ben, and I'd see him looking around. It was sick, and especially, you know, as we got like further into the show or further into the season, I also had a girl named Ashley. She was the one who got the swing flag out of the back. We would be, you know, about to go into the tunnel for the show, and we'd be swapping equipment, and it was always like hey, have a good show, like go out there, you know.
Yeah,
that was really cool.
And I bet that's like, I mean, like you're saying, like other than the sopranos and like the trumpets, like like you get to say good luck to others and build a relationship with others. I mean, obviously, I don't know where they end up in their paths, but that's just more connections. Yeah, more connections in the drum corps world.
It was really cool.
Yeah, dude. Well, other than core memories, was there something you wish you would have done that you didn't get to do this season that maybe you're looking forward for next season?
Honestly, like I loved like my show and all that stuff, and like I got to do some really fun stuff. I didn't run enough, dude. Like I was kind of booking it. I'm not gonna lie, like my show started on the 5-yard line, and I had to run from the 5 to the 30 in 16 counts. So I was kind of booking it then, but dude, I want some like jazz run drill where I have to like just play and just speed run as fast as I can. That's something I've always wanted to do. You know, I had some insane drill this year, but I just like watching hard stuff. I like
Yeah.
the challenge. So it's
The SCV team right now is like, all right,
They-
keep talking. I'll
they
give you that
heard
number.
me say that, and that's it's gonna be like end zone to end zone and back, holding a double G. We'll see what happens.
They're like, all right, keep it up.
Yeah, but no, I got to do a lot of really fun stuff, both on the field and off. We have tour jobs and stuff like that. There's like prop crew. Well, we didn't have a prop crew, but like field lining and building the scaffolding. I actually got to do the sticks of truth. I don't know if they use those. They're like these like PVC pipes, and you put like a 8 to 5 step grid on them, and we just like kind of use those to check our dots. And so you would like put it down on the yard line. You'd be like, all right, here's 2 off, here's 4 off. I'm like 2.25. All right, split the difference here. So we were in spring training at the University of Idaho, which was a great housing site. Shout out Kippy Dome. But the Viz caption head walked up to me, and he was like, hey, do you want your tour job to be the Sticks of Truth? And I was like, hell yeah. Like, I love him. I loved him in high school. I loved him in drum corps. And, because clean drill. I love clean drill. And so I had like a flag bag of them, and I just carried them around, which was kind of sick. It was a little bit difficult in spring training because it was like a hill to get up to the stadium. So I'd be like down at the food court, and I'd be like, I gotta take the sticks out. But no, it was really sick. That was one of my favorite things I got to do, actually. And I got to like retape them. Like I say, get to probably some people would be like, oh man, I had to retape this. Nah, I love the Sticks of Truth, man. That was my jam, and it was really funny because there would be times I wouldn't like hide them from the staff. I would just like put them somewhere, and we would be like at a new housing site, and the staff wouldn't know where it was. And they'd be like, we got sticks out, and I'd be like, yeah, they're over there. They're over there. It was sick. That was one of my favorite things, and then meeting new people, sharing that experience with them was really cool too.
Sick. Well, talking about favorite things, what was your favorite location that you were at? Your favorite activity, maybe on a free day or any of that? Yeah, free days were pretty cool. We had some we had some experiences on our free days. I think I've told you about our first one. I won't dive into that story, but the Portland free day, that was our first one. It was really fun. I got to spend like 3 hours in a bookstore with a really good friend of mine. And then I went bowling, and it was just like an all around really fun day. And then our second one was San Antonio, right after the San Antonio show, and I got to hang out with one of my friends, Nate from Blue Knights, and one of my friends, August from Colts, and we had met in the audition season, and it was really cool. We walked around San Antonio, and neither of them are from Texas or had ever been to Texas. And even though I'm from LA, I was like, I'm a Texan. I've been here for 8 years. Yeah. So it was really cool. We did the river walk. We did the Alamo. Never forget. And that was a really cool day. Nice. So that was fun. And then our last free day was in Atlanta, and I got to go. It's like the second biggest aquarium in the world. Oh, really? It was sick. Nice. I have a ton of really cool pictures from there. So that was really fun. I got to go to the Coca-Cola Museum. What's that? I don't know. I didn't have. Cool. It was raining, and I didn't really. So you didn't know what to do.
I was like,
somewhere that's inside.
Yeah, I was like, this looks sick, and it ended up being really cool. And then, location-wise, being in California was really fun. Oh yeah. Just like
Cali boy.
Yeah. we had this day in La Jolla, California. We called it La Jolla because I forgot. Some guy said it, and I don't remember if he was saying it ironically or not, but we were like, that's funny. And so we just kept saying La Jolla. And that day was really cool. We got there, got our floor time, got our rest, woke up, and we learned the part 6 drill, the closer drill. And we put it on the field. Sorry. I accidentally moved the table. We put that drill on the field, and it was in like one block. And it was like learn the set. All right, march it. Okay, cool. Play while marching. Okay, cool. Moving on. And they were moving pretty fast. And what ended up happening was they let us go to the beach in La Jolla, which was awesome. And I used to surf and do like wakeboarding and stuff like that, and I love swimming. And so it was really cool being back in a California beach, being back in the Pacific. And so it was like a beach day before we left, and it was really awesome. That's probably another core memory, just like being out there. I thought I lost my necklace at some point. I don't think I was wearing this one. I think I was wearing my high school dog tags, but I got like slapped by a wave, and I felt like my necklace go like this, and I thought I lost my sunglasses, fell off my face, and I was like, dude, I was about to be really sad. I didn't, but it was.
That's so funny. I swear, everyone has a funny, interesting beach story, because Drew also said he had an interesting story that he had bought some glasses, but then on the beach day, first minute that goes in the water,
yep,
glasses gone.
Dude, the beaches you got to be careful. But yeah, that was fun. And then I don't remember if I told you about this, but right after that, we got on the bus to drive to our next housing site, and I just like passed out. And I don't remember. Yeah, I think I should.
Pictures?
Yeah. So I passed out on my seat partner, and he was on the window seat, and I'm right here, and he has his arm up like this, and I'm just like completely flopped over, and he's like holding me up, and I remember waking up, and he just looked at me and was like, dude, I was fighting for my life trying to keep you upright. And I was like, dude, I'm so sorry.
No,
it was really fun. That day was awesome. La Jolla was great. Being home in Texas was awesome. We got to rehearse at Denton High School, which was like 30 minutes away from my house. I have a really good friend, Abby, who went to Denton, and so she came to see me. My best friend Max came out to see me. It was really cool, and just like my mom and my brothers came out, so it was a really awesome experience.
Nice.
Yeah.
No, that's sick, man. That's honestly, I think besides the competition and playing and rehearsals and all that, it's cool to hear that like you make lifelong memories, just like in marching band and like in high school.
Yeah.
Same thing, but except it's all over the world.
Yeah, like and it's insane because I got to go to so many states that I'd never been in.
I was about to ask actually, like were you a big traveler before then?
Yeah, I had been basically anywhere between Texas and California, like in that drive. I've been there, and I'd been up to Indy. I have family out there, and then I went to Grand Nats in 2022, and I've been to Missouri, but we started in Idaho. I'd never been to Idaho.
Home of the potato,
dude. I like genuinely, those potatoes were the best potatoes I've ever had in my life. Like, they're not kidding.
Dang.
I was like, I went in and I was like, okay, Idaho potatoes. And then we had like our first dish with potatoes in it. I was like, oh my God. It was life-changing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So we started in Idaho, went down to California. I'm probably going to skip over something because I forget. And we were, Vanguard was actually the corps that traveled the most out of all of them. So that was, we were schmoovin'.
Yeah.
But we went Idaho to California. We went to Colorado and Utah and Oregon, and Nevada and Arizona. Actually, in Arizona, we shared a housing site with the Academy, so that was really cool.
Yes. So that's where the videos came from.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
Yeah, that was a sick experience.
Because then y'all watched each other's rehearsals.
Yeah, we watched each other's rehearsal. Yeah. So we both had like rehearsal runs, and so we watched them during our lunch, and then they watched us during their dinner. It was really cool. That's one of those things, it's like drum corps camaraderie.
Yeah.
And then trying to think, we went through Texas. We went to Louisiana. We were at the University of Louisiana Monroe. That was wild. that walk to the stadium, we slept in their fine arts building, I think. I don't really remember. And then we had to walk walk across a bridge and all this stuff, like all the way down to the stadium. That walk was it was a bit much, but it was cool. And then Louisiana, and we were in Massachusetts. We were in Boston. I didn't even know we passed through Boston. I was just like, my thing was I kind of just got on the bus and like the bus took me to a place and then I got
fair.
out rehearsed or I did a show and
That's fair.
but and then Indy, I'm probably missing something but I don't know, someone will catch me.
Yeah. Somebody will comment and be like, you don't remember this?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, other than drum corps, you went to Prosper, a super good school.
Yes, absolutely.
Super good school with their marching band and whatnot. What's one big significant difference you noticed between drum corps and marching band in high school?
Honestly, like you said, like Prosper was a great program. We had some really good staff there. I think the speed was honestly probably the biggest difference. Like there's good people everywhere. I think there's good people in every program, and especially like I was super blessed with the staff I had. I had Blue Coat staff members, and our guard director was absolutely phenomenal, and our percussion director was great too. He marched like the golden years of Phantom, so that was really cool. And our design team was great. But I think just like the speed of drum corps is unmatched. Like it doesn't matter how good your band program is. Like drum corps speed is intense. Because I remember day one of spring training, because we got there on May 25th. That was day 0. I went to Target and because I forgot to bring a blanket and a pillow. I got to my dorm and I was like, I don't have a blanket or a pillow, and I just kind of have to figure that out. So yes, and then day 1, our first day of rehearsal, our morning block was visual. We learned part 1 drill. It was like 38 pages or something like that, and I was like, oh, cool. We're learning that stuff. And then we were going into afternoon block, and I was like, all right, so we're gonna clean part 1 drill, and they were like, no, we're putting it on the move with music, and I was like, oh, you're for real? And they're like, yeah. I was like, oh, my bad. And so afternoon block, we put on the field with music, and then evening block, we did it in full ensemble with the percussion, and I was like, this is insane. Like that's like. The Prosper was great, but we didn't learn drill that fast.
Yeah.
That probably would have taken us like a week.
Yeah.
And that kind of goes to show like how important each day of drum corps is, especially of spring training. I think I told you about this, like how I got injured. I guess I didn't.
Was it your back?
No, it was, I screwed up my feet in spring training, and the doctor was like, yeah, like I'm gonna tell you that you can't be walking for right now. And so I was on bed rest for quite a while, and that's why if you look at my tour account, I was posting every day, and it was like day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5, day 6, day 7, and then it was like day 7 to 28, because I was just like out, and then once I got back in, it was moving so fast again that I had to learn the rest of the show. I had to like make sure I was clean and get back on par with everyone else. So that was kind of crazy, and it kind of, especially that experience was like, oh man, like
any second could.
Yeah, every second counts.
Yeah.
Like, and that was my favorite thing about Vanguard is like we still got better in finals week. It was like our prelim show was great, our semi show we got a little bit cleaner, and then our finals show we got a little bit cleaner. And that was really cool for me because I was like, yeah, there's still work to be done. Like our last rehearsal in Indy, our finals day rehearsal, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna get cleaner. I'm gonna clean stuff. I'm gonna make sure my show is better than last night and better than the night before. So yeah, I forgot what the question was, but the difference between high school and drum corps. I also thought I thought it was interesting how the no woodwinds thing is handled.
Oh, right.
Like, no hate on woodwinds, but like I love drum corps music. It's completely different, and I think it's really cool when you hear like just like a piece that got played by a high school and a drum corps. It's like like hearing the differences. Like especially when you have like the saxophone playing the mellow part, and it's like the flute playing the trumpet part. And you can kind of see where all those things align, and it's kind of got me interested. I was thinking the other night, I was like, oh, what if like this bit in this Prosper show was a drum corps excerpt?
Yeah.
You know,
No,
how
yeah.
would they handle like a woodwind heavy piece
Yeah.
and put it into that? And like, you know, I really like how drum corps handles that. And especially our brass arranger Evan Van Doren is, you know, he's absolute genius. I've loved all his work, but he had some ridiculous music to like take in, and you know, obviously he had a Kendrick Lamar, like just like a straight up like rap song. I think he handled it great, and he also had some of our other music was the All Seeing Sky by Jean Sathis is actually a I forget if it's marimba or I think it's marimba, but it's a duet, and with like wind band accompaniment, and that was insane. Like I don't know how he did that, and he turned it into something really cool. Our like jazzy section with the trombones was actually a piece from a French ballet called With Reckless Abandon. That was like I remember listening to it, and if you listen to the actual source music, the first like minute and a half, it just sounds like the Minecraft like walking on grass sound. I was listening to it, I was like,
how is this gonna work?
Cool. And then yeah, I listened to it and I was like, I have no clue how they're gonna make this into drum corps music.
No, it's insane.
Yeah. And then I heard it and I was like,
and it's the best thing ever.
This is like so cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, what he did with all of it is insane and just really thought out. And that's the thing I appreciate, you know. It was that way when I marched in high school, and it's especially that way in drum corps. Like there is thought and
into
intention.
everything.
Yeah. And like we were talking about, so
like even last night.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
Yeah. So sorry.
Backstory,
because we've been saying last night. Basically, last night we were hanging out with a bunch of friends. Somebody else that is also going to come on the podcast soon. But we watched his show, and he was kind of describing the concepts, behind the scenes of what this meant, what that meant, and stuff like that. And so that's one of the things he was saying yesterday of like, oh, this thing had its moment here. And like some things that like viewers, like just like me or any of y'all, like we might not notice, but like for them it has a way other like different thing for them than us as a viewer, you know.
And Kylie was talking about with the Crossman. I'm sure she'll talk about it too when she's on here. But yeah, that was a big thing. One of our program coordinators, Andy Toth, made sure to like sit down with us. The first one was actually when we were in Santa Clara, California, and he sat down with us and he talked through. He was like, "All right, I want to get your ideas, and I want to tell you guys, you know, what this section of the show means. That way, you guys know what you're performing."
Exactly.
And that's like, you know, that's
a big
thing. That was huge for me, because it was like I'm very big into the performance quality of marching band, and you know,
especially in drum corps.
Yeah, and I wanted to know what I was doing.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, like
gotta know what character you're playing.
Right. There's a difference between, you know, like doing this.
Yeah.
And knowing what that means.
Yeah.
You know, because I could just like throw my hand out here and be like that. But like when we did that in the opener, we were reaching towards the vagabond. You know, that we were like trying to draw attention to that.
Yeah.
So that was really cool for me to, you know, just like understand my show better, and that helped me connect with it. You know.
Exactly.
So that was really cool. And we had another one of those talks in Colorado, I think, once we got more of the show on the field. So that was huge for me.
No, yeah, dude. That's awesome. I was unintentionally geeking out last night because I was like, like you really don't know any of this at all. Yeah. Like you were saying yesterday with the guard placement, what equipment the guard is using.
Yeah.
The songs that come with whatever's going on the field.
Yep.
And then just it all matches up.
Yeah.
Again, shout out to the SCV design team, because that's insane work.
Yeah, that was really cool. I actually talked to Andy Toth, and on that same day in Santa Clara, Paul Rennick also talked about, you know, like the musical concepts of it and all that stuff. And it was a point, I don't remember, it might have been in Colorado, but I remember just you know, kind of struggling with what I was supposed to be doing in my solo.
Yeah.
You know, like to me at that point, I was like, all right, I stand on the 50, I go to open second, and I play a solo. You know, I was trying to play it with some motivation, and so I asked Mr. Toth. I was like, hey, so what am I doing here? Like, what is this whole idea? And he kind of explained it to me, and it was really great. And you know that was right when the guard person, you know, switches off and he becomes the new vagabond and all that stuff. And he was like, yeah, so you are kind of this echo of finally understanding what your journey is for. And when I played the Kendrick Lamar lick, that's like this call out to him to begin his new journey as the vagabond. And I remember that talk, and like I'm getting flashbacks to it right now. And I was just like, okay. And from that point on, I played my solo differently.
Yeah, no, yeah,
and
that makes sense.
You know, it was that was a really cool thing for me to just kind of be more in touch with what I was supposed to be doing.
And I think that's one thing drum corps has that I think differs from high school band too, is that, I mean, like let's say you're doing an orchestral piece, right? Your conductor is expecting you to express your feelings with the music on the page.
Yeah.
You could easily just play the music alone, but like dynamics and just a bunch of things make it emotional and expressive. And I think that's the same way where in drum corps they have this. I don't see this as much in marching band, but with drum corps I do, where you were saying not only are you performing, but you have significance, like something, like there's some meaning to what the movements are, and not just the music, but also the movements and when it's happening, the timing of it, and all of that, which is really cool to me.
I think that was really cool, especially since especially with no props.
Yeah,
like
you have to.
I
connect with them.
I was the GE.
Yeah.
And like the person next to me was the GE, and the guard was the GE, and like you know, we couldn't really, you know, do cool stuff with props, and like I love props, but we couldn't really, you know, do cool stuff with props, and it'd be like, oh dude, that's awesome. You know, like I loved the beginning of the Mandarin's show where those props, you know, they fall down and it's like, whoa, the horn line's there. But ours it's just like I had to create that effect.
And y'all did, dude. It was awesome.
Yeah. It was just really sick to, you know, be that important to what was happening. Yeah.
No, that's sick. I guess I forgot to say this earlier, but I was fascinated by again, like the music and how it's written. We were talking about the difference between how it's written in like marching band with like woodwinds and whatnot, and then drum corps. Yeah. I always thought, and this was way before, like I started watching drum corps. Like I was like, oh, like the like you would imagine that the woodwinds are the ones who bring like a ballad into like give it its life and its form and its texture. Yeah. But in drum corps, there's no woodwinds. Yeah. And they still perform the ballads to an amazing like thing. It's insane.
It's really cool. It's really cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, as we are soon wrapping up this episode, I want to get to know if you have any tips or any of that to anyone who's looking to join the drum corps world, or some advice for camps and all of that.
Yeah. So the camp season is especially important to, like, you know, getting your face out there, and making sure that you're not hiding behind others. That was something I did in camp season, was like I stood by vets in the arc. I was like, I didn't wait for someone to tell me where to go. I just went somewhere. And if we were doing like a you know, whatever, like dance or movement or marching, like I put myself in the front. Because if you're in the back, they're not going to really pay attention to you. But if you're in the front, you know, putting yourself out there, performing well, it's really effective. You know, make sure you're prepared. I'm sure people say that, but like, you know, I auditioned for the 2023 season because my school was hosting the Blue Coats camp. And, you know, I got the music the day before the camp, and I didn't really prepare it that well. And so I did really good visually, and then my music score was really bad because I didn't prepare. And so that's something for me, like, okay, I need to be prepared for what I'm doing, and like, just do it. Yeah, man, just, you said 3. I'm trying to think of a third. Meet people. Yeah, like even outside of like the audition experience, just meet people. Like I said, my friend from Blue Knights and my friend from Colts, like we met in the camp season, and we've been texting the entire season. We're still texting right now. I probably have a snap from one of them
right now.
Right now, but it's like, you know, like those people are your connections for when you're trying to get jobs.
Yeah.
Those people are, you know, just like
Tech.
they might tech with you. If they're vets in the Corps, they might talk to the staff and help you get in.
Yeah.
Like meeting people at camps is so important, to me especially. Just like it's drum corps. You know, if you're paying to do it and you're paying to, you know, put yourself through that rigor, like have some fun and make some friends while doing it. So, yeah.
No, that's awesome advice. I mean, as you know, and as most of the audience knows by now, I'm planning on March next year, and like just hearing everyone has their own, like something you brought up that like maybe Drew didn't bring up was like making connections.
Yeah.
But then also something that both of y'all said were prepare your things, you know? So it's really cool to see just everyone's perspective, and everyone's just so open and humble about like literally. And I was talking about this earlier with my dorm mate and whatnot. Like, there's so many people at GB. By the way, GB is the UNT Marching Band Green Brigade. There's so many people that are super good and march incredible drum corps, soloists, this and that, and like everyone's just humble. Like everyone's here for the experience, the same thing you are wanting out of it. Y'all are all doing the same thing.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, it's really just up to you if you're gonna put in the hard work.
Yeah, and you know, meeting people in your corps and outside your corps. So like Gabe Ayers.
Hey, shout out.
Yeah, he was a tech for me, and
he was.
and then I saw him on tour, and you know, him and I stood like right next to each other while we were getting lined up to go to the finals retreat.
Hey,
and that was awesome, and you know, it's like such a cool experience just to
dude.
like I said at the beginning, it's just everyone doing the same crap you're doing, and everyone's doing it, and everyone's going through the same stuff, and that's how you make those like lifelong connections. And you know, my goal personally is that no matter how many seasons I march, and no matter how far I get past this season, like I want someone to come up to me in 20 years and be like, hey, do you remember that person? And I'm like, yeah, dude. And I'm like, I can tell these stories about him because one of our staff members, one of our brass staff members, he sat us down in subs. And he's like, all right, I just want to like talk to you guys about like drum corps. Yeah. And he was telling us some of his stories, and he's like, that guy, and he started just like naming people, and I was like, that's cool,
dude. It's awesome.
That's drum corps for me. You know, like I can go in and I can play my instrument and I can, you know, march well and hit my dots, and you know, at the end of the season there's a point value given. I love that. But that's not it for me. Like drum corps is family, it's connections, it's like it's finding a peace of mind.
Hey,
I'm playing.
And just like that.
No, I can't end it on that. But no, it's like it's just like meeting people and making these connections that like, God, I hope I teach with some of these people. Like one of my friends, Bridget, she was a trumpet at Vanguard. She is going to be like the world's best band director. And like I know it for a fact. And I can't wait to see what she does. Yeah. And I can't wait to see her band win state like 3 times in a row. Right. And you know, my bus partner Ethan, like him and I, we were driving from the airport to the University of Idaho on our first day. Him and I and another guy, we all flew together, and we were on the bus and we were like, dude, let's start a marching band in Idaho, and just become like insane, you know, like that would be crazy, and and now he's like one of my best friends. Yeah. Like I can't explain why drum corps can do that, but like I will never be able to thank like Vanguard and DCI as a whole for giving me like everything. Yeah. You know, like this is something that I'll be able to talk about for the rest of my life. And even if, you know, in 20 years someone's like, oh, you marched drum corps, what year did you march? I was like, I marched Vanguard 24. And they'll be like, oh, you marched that. I hope you fine. Like,
someone's
still gonna do that.
Yeah, that's actually.
And they're gonna be like, oh, you're that one with that awesome trombone quartet, and I'll be like, yeah.
Yeah. No,
but
it's
like,
awesome.
and I'll get to talk about like, yeah, that's where I met like my lifelong friends. You know,
dude.
that's where I met like all these people that I'll hopefully still be friends with by the time we get to that point.
Yeah.
So,
dude, that's awesome. No, yeah, band is such a small world.
Mm-hmm.
It's insane how small it is,
Yeah.
dude. So many people I'm meeting at GB now. I'm like, or like even Will the other day.
Yeah.
He came up to me. He was like, "Are you Owen?" I was like, "Yeah." He was like, "Oh yeah." Sylvia was talking to me about you. I was like, "How?"
Yeah,
like,
you know.
"Oh, that's my girlfriend." I was like, "What?"
Yeah, it's
insane.
It really is a small world, and like, you know, drum corps brings people together, brings people together, and I think music does that too.
It's awesome.
Brought us together,
Right.
So
If not, we're never here.
yeah.
That's awesome. Well, one last thing I did want to ask is, do you want to give a shout out to any old band directors, any staff members that you greatly appreciate?
Absolutely. It might take a while, but I'll make it quick because I know we have limited time left in this room. Aaron Renzenbrink was my head director my senior year. Brandon Holt was my head director for most of my years of high school. Aaron Duggar was probably...
Hype him up, hype him up,
yeah.
hype him up.
Aaron Duggar was probably one of my biggest inspirations of all time in the marching arts. Sarah Yankee was one of my assistant directors my senior year. Oh my gosh. Tina Parr was actually my middle school band director. She came out to see me in McKinney, which was really awesome. Mr. Duggar came out to see me too in Denton. Sorry, no. Samantha Sheets, she marched BD this year. Bluecoats, sorry.
Yes.
Jesse was a really good friend of mine. Yeah, Gabe Ayers, of course.
Go.
Lauren Bristol was my tech and then my drum major at Vanguard. And, you know, I don't want to name all of them, but literally everyone at the Vanguard staff, they were so good. Conrad Eisenhower was my visual caption head. Taylor Smith was my brass caption head. Katie Van Doren was scared the crap out of me every day, but like she was one of the greatest people I've ever met. You know what? The one I will do an absolute insane shout out for is Santi Aguilera at the Vanguard. He was on Vish staff. They posted a picture of me like a week before he got to spring training, like before he joined us for the first time. And it was an ensemble run, and I was playing my solo, and I was wearing this like Mexico jersey. Mm-hmm. And he walked up to me and he was like, "Yo, were you that guy in the Mexico jersey?" And I was like, "Yeah." He was like type, and I was like, "Yeah." And no, he was like, he was so cool, and you know, he really had a huge impact on me, just being a person.
Yeah, dude.
And the trumpet staff, like all the trumpet techs were absolutely amazing. And you know, all the staff at Vanguard, all the staff at Prosper, you know, there's especially the staff at Prosper. I mean, they're the reason I'm here. I was really bad. I'm not gonna lie. Going into my freshman season, I was really bad. You know, also huge thanks to Mike Rosales. I remember he really saw how good of a performer I could be, and he, you know, kind of tapped into that my sophomore year, and I reached out to him this season, and I was like, "Hey, are there any spots open at Vanguard?" And you know, he got me connections, and he got me a spot.
Yeah.
So and he gave me one of the greatest experiences of my life with this season. So yeah.
Awesome.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, dude. Shout out to all the high school band directors.
Yeah, dude.
Literally nobody would be
band
here.
directors in general.
Middle school band directors. Oh my God, bro. No,
Yeah.
We wouldn't be here without any of them.
Yeah.
Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Thank you, Isaiah. Thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah.
I hope we get to experience many memories here at UNT. It's gonna be a hell of a good time, bro.
Speaking of, I'm hungry.
I'm hungry too.
Yeah, you want to?
Let's go to Bruce.
Eagle's right here.
Okay, let's go to
Let's
Eagle.
say that Eagle landing, bro.
Alrighty, guys. Make sure you subscribe to Owen. Whoa, Owen does band things. Follow on Instagram, that is Owen Talks Drumcore. And once again, follow on Spotify, that is also Owen Talks Drumcore. You guys, I will see you guys next week. Peace.